Well, buy-sell agreements can be very important to assuring a smooth transition of the business from one generation to the next. And it's important to adhere to the outlined agreement to avoid legal issues. Roger McEowen with the Washburn School of Law joins us now for more on this. Roger, thanks for being here. Obviously, this is so important, and from what I'm understanding, just as important as a will or a trust.
I think that's right, Suzanne. Good to be with you. And we had a recent case on this, too, that really points out the importance of doing a buy-sell agreement right to keep the stock in the family farming or ranching operation in the family from generation to generation.
So give us a little background on this case.
Well, we had two brothers that were the shareholders of a small, closely held family business, and they entered into a stock purchase agreement that required the company to buy back shares of the first brother to die. And the business purchased about $3.5 million worth of life insurance on each brother to fund that event. Well, we had the brother that owned about 78% of the stock died, and his other brother was the executor of the estate, and of course the one that was also going to benefit from this. The company gets $3.5 million worth of insurance proceeds. He chooses, the surviving brother chooses not to buy the shares, so the company redeems that stock, keeps it in the family. And then what happens on that was the estate, the deceased brother's estate, values the stock at $3 million. The surviving brother just said, well, I'll pick a number out of the air. We're just going to add that value of $3 million, include that in the taxable estate. IRS audited that, said, no. That increased the value of the corporate stock. It increased the estate. And you're shy about $1.1 million worth of estate tax because the brother's estate was taxable.
So what do they do wrong here? I mean, what should farmers and ranchers know when they're going through this process and want to leave it to the next generation without the IRS really getting their hands on that?
Yeah, and that's the key question. The key point on this is they didn't pay attention to formalities. They were supposed to follow that buy-sell agreement to set a corporate value every year, either by an appraisal or by some type of fixed equation where they were going to go in and value that stock every year. They just ignored that and then just kind of picked a number out of the air after one brother died, and that's not good enough. The tax law has very specific requirements for buyouts to work for tax purposes. You just can't simply agree by the seat of your pants on a value. That won't cut it.
Right. Just willy-nilly throw some number out there, right? So what do they do? What every farmer and rancher right now going, I want to make sure that should I leave this earth, I want to make sure that the next generation, my family, is protected. What steps should they take right now?
Well, this is a document that's very technical, and so an attorney needs to draft this document, and that attorney needs to be working with that farmer and farm family throughout the year to make sure that the restrictions in that agreement and the requirements of it are being complied with throughout the year, year after year after year, and then that the process, the document is respected, and then the process at death is followed precisely. Because if you do that, then you're going to get the result that you want. I don't think we would have had a case on this had they paid attention to those details. And in fact, there are other cases that come out just the opposite of this case. I think this is just one where they didn't pay attention to the details. And I fear that there are farmers and ranchers out there that operate like that. And this is the peril you can get into. And it'll be a bigger issue if that estate tax exemption comes down starting in 2026.
Always great information. WashburnLaw.edu. Roger, thank you so much for the information and insight. And nice haircut, by the way. Roger McEowen with the Washburn School of Law. Appreciate him joining us.